Dolores, who is this in the picture here?
That's my great-grandma Schumacher.
And where did she come over from Russia?
Yes.
Do you remember when?
No.
Did she ever say when?
I never really knew her personally. I never ever talked to her. I just know the picture from my parents would tell me that's who it is.
Do you know where it was taken?
Know where it was taken? No.
Were there ever any stories told about your grandmother that you remember?
Only in the older years when she was staying with the children here and there, and then she would have Alzheimer's and she'd walk away. That's about the only story I know of her.
Okay. And this is your father's?
My mother's
Your
mother's grandma.
mother's grandma.
My great-grandma.
And who's in this photo?
That's my grandpa and grandma Schumacher, my mother's parents.
What do you remember about your grandparents?
I know my grandma came over from Russia, but I'm not sure if my grandpa did. I guess I could study it in the Schumacher book, but I didn't really study that part. Oh, I remember them well. I knew them well. They would come to visit us a lot, and we'd go to visit them.
What is your fondest memory of your grandparents?
The candy they always brought.
What was it?
They were peppermint candy. They weren't even that good, but we really liked them. Just the idea, you know.
Was this traditional dress in
Yeah,
Russia?
that was the way she was dressed most of the time.
And is that the same as your grandfather would dress as well?
Right. That was a Sunday dress. He dressed like that every Sunday.
Would they tell you stories about the old country?
No, they never really did. I guess we never questioned it. If we'd have to do it again, we would.
And this is the Schumacher family?
This is the Schumacher family, my mother's family, her parents and her sisters and her brothers. And there's only one living yet of all these. That's Aunt Julia.
Can you tell me who they are, starting in the back row?
Mary, John, Paul, Adam, Aunt Julia, that was Paul.
Oh, who's this?
I started over here.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do this over?
Yes.
I started over here.
Oh, okay.
And you started over here. We start in the wrong
Do
sides.
left to right.
Okay. Okay, Aunt Mary. Uncle Paul. Yeah, Uncle John. This is my mother, Catherine. This is Uncle John. Uncle Adam. This is Aunt Julia. Uncle Adam. Aunt Marie. Uncle Sebastian. Aunt Margaret. Grandma. And Grandpa. And Aunt Magdalene.
What do you remember about your aunts and uncles?
Oh, I knew them all real well. I was real fond of them. I was pretty close to all of them. In fact, I worked at some of those places for my aunts. I'd help them out in the summer months. We had small families. So I got close to them.
Did you ever live with them at all?
Yeah.
For how long?
No, with Aunt Marie, I'd lived sometimes 3 months in the summer. And then with Uncle Adam, I lived quite long with them in the summer months. And then I was at Aunt Margaret's, and a short while at Uncle Paul's. So I was close to them all. I knew them real well. So in the summer months when school was over, parents would send to help them out.
What can you tell us about this picture?
This is my grandpa Kuhn, and he served in Russia under Tsar, but I can't tell you how many years.
When did he immigrate?
I don't remember that, but I know my dad was 3 years old when they came from Russia to the United States.
And was this traditional garb for the military?
Yeah, that was the military dress. That was his uniform.
And this is a family photo of who?
My dad's side,
The Kuhns?
Kuhn's, Francis and Daniel Kuhn family.
Do you know where this picture was taken?
No, I don't.
Do you know about when?
It's an old picture because Aunt Lucille was a little baby.
Can you tell me who they are starting?
Okay. That was one of his sister Dora. Her name was Teresa, but when she became a nun, her name was Sister Dora. And this is my dad. And this is, her name was Catherine, but she was Sister Mary George when she became a nun.
Okay.
And this is Aunt Magdalene.
Okay.
This is Aunt Mary, and she was later Sister Mary Ann Welder. And this was Sister, well, her name was Teresa, and she was Sister Dora then.
Or was this Teresa?
No, this is Teresa. This is Sister Dora. Let me think a little bit here. This was Ludwina, and she is Sister Danella. And this is Francis.
Oh, can we start here?
Okay. This is Gabriel. And this is my grandpa. And this is Francis, and her name is now Sister Eileen. And this is Alois.
It was what?
Alois,
How do you spell it?
A-L-O-I-S.
Oh, okay.
They call him Al.
Okay.
And this is Grandma. And that is Lucille. Oh, we didn't have this one. Oh, Benita
And Lucille?
and Lucille. Oh, sorry, I moved it a little bit.
And what are some of your fond memories of your father's siblings?
Well, I didn't get to know them as well as the Schumachers because I worked for them a lot. But that was always a pleasure when the nuns came home. We'd have big family get-togethers.
And how many nuns were in this family?
There were 5.
5 of 9? 8
5
girls.
of 11.
5 of 8 girls.
Of 8 girls, right, but 11 children.
And is this one of the nuns?
This is Sister Mary Ann Welder. Yeah, she was first married and she had 3 children. And then when her children were all gone on their own, she became a nun. And she also has a daughter. Her oldest daughter is a nun, and she's Sister Thomas Welder. And she was president of Mary College for 30-some years. And then she retired on the June 2009,
So it was pretty recent.
last week.
And how about these ladies?
These are my 4 aunts that are nuns. They're in Notre Dame nuns, and they're in Mankato, Minnesota.
Can you tell
They're
me
my
who they
dad's
are?
sisters. Yeah, this is Sister Aline, A-L-E-N-E, Sister Mary George, Sister Danella, like Daniel, and Sister Dora.
What do you remember about your aunts who were nuns?
I just remember when they came home always, it was just so nice to visit with them. They were it's just different from the other aunts.
How so?
How so? I don't know, I think they were just more gentle and more calm, and I don't know, just different.
What kind of celebrations would you have when they would come visit?
Oh, they would get together and they would sing and they would have big meals and all kinds of storytelling, and
What
it
kind
was
of
a
stories?
fun time.
What kind
Oh,
of-
they would talk stories about growing up and what they're doing. And
All right. And who's in this photo here?
this is my grandma Kuhn, my dad's mother.
And what do you remember about your grandma?
Oh, I just remember when they come to visit us a lot, and they used to have a store in St. Anthony Church, and then we would go there Sunday afternoons, and she'd always send us a jar full of candy and all these different things, and it was fun going visiting at the store. Then in later years they moved to Linton, and then we didn't see him that much anymore. And then Grandpa died, and then she was in Strasbourg nursing home, and then we saw less of her. She didn't come to visit no more then.
All right. And who's this picture of?
This is my parents and my oldest sister Annie and my older brother John, and my mother's holding me.
About how old were you in this picture?
Probably 2, 3,
And where do you know where this was taken?
in front of our old house on the farm where we grew up.
And where was that?
Just out of town here.
What can you tell me about your parents? What do you remember fondly about them?
Oh, they were hardworking people like everybody else. My dad had always been in church a lot for playing. He was always organist. And then there was sometimes during the week even he had to go and play. And my mother was hardworking, like I say, like everybody else worked those days. She would talk a lot about relations, who belongs here and there, sister, brother to here and there, and that'd be always real interesting to me. She would visit a lot. She was a talker.
But what's your fondest memory of her?
She was always real kind. Nobody stopped without getting something when they were on the farm. As people come out from town, everybody got a chicken, a quart of cream, and even in town, then she'd send jam she'd made or something she baked, or she was always giving, always giving. My dad was real easygoing. He was never remember that I got a licking, or anybody in the family got a spanking of him, or my mother scolded more, but it was never serious. Never took it for granted.
So they weren't strict.
No, they were easygoing.
And what is happening in this picture?
That's my grandpa and grandma Kuhn and my youngest aunt Lucille when she was a little girl. My dad's youngest sister.
And where was this, out at the farmhouse, or?
I think that was in town.
And they looked like they're dressed for
That must
Sunday.
be on a Sunday. Yeah.
Are these your parents?
That's my parents, my mother and my dad, by the old house on the farm where we grew up.
Was he often in overalls?
Yeah, he was.
Did he work a lot out on the farm?
He did. And my mother wore them overalls when she worked in the garden and stuff. My mother never wore slacks. She never owned a pair of slacks. She was always in a dress, and if she'd work outside, she would wear my dad's overalls.
What kind of food did she grow in her garden?
All kinds of vegetables. Mostly what they grow nowadays.
And what did your father do on the farm?
Well, we had cattle and milk cows and seeded, raised wheat and corn and oats and barley.
All right. And this looks like a special day. Can you explain this picture?
Yeah, that is our wedding day, coming out of St. Boniface Church after we were married.
And what year was that?
That was January 4th, 1954.
And is this church still there?
This church is not there no more.
What do you remember most about being here? What do you remember most about this day?
Gee, that's a hard question. A hard question.
Is this photo with your attendants?
Yeah,
Or is
no,
this
my parents. That's John and me. Of our wedding with my parents and John's parents. George and Barbara Becker and Pies and Catherine Kuhn.
And did they usually take photos before or after the wedding ceremony?
This was after the wedding.
Okay.
Those days they pretty much took them after the wedding.
Were these taken at the chapel?
No, it was taken at a studio. Those days they would go to a studio mostly after the wedding. They'd go somewhere to a studio. They didn't have a cameraman come.
And was the reception immediately following?
This was probably taken a few days after the wedding.
Okay.
We get dressed again, and you get dressed when you were there at the studio.
Okay.
That's how most of them did it.
All right. And what is this picture?
This is the farm where I grew up.
What can you tell us about what we see in this picture here?
Oh, this was our old house and a summer kitchen. In the summer months, we moved to the summer kitchen, so the house stays clean, no flies get in there. We would just sleep in the house, and then we would cook and live in the summer kitchen.
How big was the summer kitchen?
It was just one room, just a kitchen.
Okay.
So we'd live there in the summer months. In the fall, when it got cold, we'd move back in the house again.
What was that like?
It was different. A lot of people did that. That was just how it was done then.
Was that traditional? Did
That
they
was
bring
traditional.
that over
They
from
moved.
Russia?
Yeah, that was traditional. People moved in the summer kitchen for the summer, and the winter months they lived in the house.
Okay. And is this farmstead still standing?
No. They built a new farm just half a mile away.
And these are obviously trucks. What were they used for?
One is a car,
Mm-hmm.
two-door car, and the truck, well, was used for farming, hauling coal and grain, and the car was to get around.
Do you know about what year that was?
No, I
You
don't.
started using those?
He's awake.
And who is in this picture here?
That's my oldest sister, myself, and my brother John. My oldest sister is Anne.
And is this at the old farmstead?
Yes.
Was this typical garb for like a Sunday, or?
Yeah, this was a Sunday. We were dressed either going to church or coming from church.
Okay, and who's the baby here?
That's my oldest sister, Anne.
Okay, and she was what, about a year old in this picture?
Looks like it. And she would, this was probably taken in 1929. She was born in 28.
Okay, and who are the three girls in this picture here?
The middle one is my sister Helen, and the two younger girls are my twin sisters, Betty and Barbara.
Is Betty on the left?
Yes.
What kind of memories do you have of your sisters here?
Oh, I don't know. I took care of them a lot because they were a lot younger than I was. And then when they got a little older, they come and helped us when we were married and had small children.
So they babysat for you?
And they babysat for me, and I used to babysit for them because they were a lot younger than I was. My twin sisters, yeah, this was Easter time. And we didn't have Easter baskets those days, and we got our Easter treats in a shoebox. So they're holding their shoe boxes with their Easter treats. As proud as can be.
How old about were they in this picture?
About 5. That was one of our cars. I remember when they bought that car.
All right, this looks like the twins again. Who are
Yeah,
they
and
with
this
in
is my great uncle, Father George Stroh. He was my grandma Kuhn's brother.
George Stoll?
Stroh, S-T-R-O-H.
Okay.
And the twins are pictured with him. My
Is
twin
it Betty
sisters,
and
Betty and Barbara.
Betty and Barbara. Or do they usually stand in that order?
Yeah, they do. You can see one smaller than the other one.
Are they at church here?
No, this was just, he was visiting. And just took a picture.
The twins again. Who are they with here?
They're with my brother Leo on this picture. They got lots of pictures taken. Because they were twins. They were special.
Are they at the farmhouse here?
Yep, they're at the farmhouse.
Do you have any particular memory that stands out more than the others concerning your twins?
Yeah, they. I think they had more rights, and they were just kind of always special because they were twins.
Who are they with here?
They're with me, myself, and my twin sisters. Their first Holy Communion, a big day for them. Betty and Barbara.
And I see you're wearing white as well.
Yeah.
Is it normal for others
No,
to wear white
it just
on that
so
same day?
happened.
Okay. And they're holding...
They're holding their certificate. They get a First Communion certificate from the church.
And is it a candle?
And a candle they get, yeah.
Here they are again.
Here they are again, the
Matching.
twins. On a windy day, the hair are blowing. Just ordinary weekday dressed. Yeah, they were usually matching.
Are they holding a plant?
I think it's a birthday cake.
Or cake?
They're holding their birthday cake. It's an angel food cake we made for them, with candles on.
It was angel food?
Mm-hmm.
Did you always get the same cake every year for the twin? Did they always get the same one every year?
We pretty much made angel food for birthdays.
Okay.
That was
that traditional?
Traditional birthday cake usually was angel food.
Okay. Is this at the old farmhouse?
Yeah, well, in the yard. Yeah, the old farm yard.
This looks like a fun picture.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time sledding with this little sled and a horse. We went a lot of places with that, from one farm to another, here and there, getting around.
What was the horse name? Do you remember?
Don't remember. I'm sure he had one, but I
Can you
don't
tell-
remember.
Can you
Because
tell
we had
who's on the
lots,
sled?
we had lots of horses.
Okay. Can you tell who's on the sled?
It's my brothers. I have 3 brothers. I was on there a lot too, but I'm not on this particular one. I think I took the picture.
And in this picture, is that you?
That's me with one of my cousins.
And what was your cousin's name?
His name was Francis.
And is this at the old house as well?
Yeah, we babysat him.
How long did you babysit him?
We babysat him for a long time. His mother was in the hospital when she had him, and she died. And then we had him for about 1.5 years, and then his dad got remarried. And then he took him home. That was a real sad day at our house. It was a funeral, because we were so attached to him. That's,
Horseback riding?
yep, my twins are horseback riding. And that's my brother Leo, standing by the horse.
Did you normally go horseback riding and
Lots.
lots?
I never did, but the boys did. And some of the girls did. Some of my sisters.
Is that the farmhouse there?
That's the one that we built when we moved from that old one that I said it's not there no more. We built this one. So I grew up in 2 farmhouses. That's the same house again that we built.
And this looks like a family photo.
Yeah, that's when the sisters were home, the nuns. They had sisters from Mankato. Then we had family gatherings all the time. So this is one of them.
I know it's a little hard to see. Is there
Yeah,
any
who
way
they
you can
all
tell
are.
who's in
Yeah, it's nieces and nephews and uncles and aunts. And
How often would they come for a visit?
they would only get to come every 4 years or so, and then later on they got to come as much as they wanted. But at
Why
first
only
they
every 4
couldn't.
years?
That was their ruling.